Adrian is a rising professional soccer player in a mid-level team, living for the roar of the crowd and the feel of the ball at his feet. Just when a bigger future starts to open for him, a brutal tackle tears his left knee and shatters his confidence. Doctors doubt, coaches move on, and people tell him to accept a quieter life. But Adrian cannot forget the field, the dreams, and the promise he made to himself as a kid. This story follows his darkest nights, the endless rehab, the lonely mornings in the gym, and the silent battles inside his own mind, as he fights to rewrite what everyone else believes is already decided. Chapter 1: Born between concrete and goals. I grew up between concrete walls and narrow streets, where the echo of a bouncing ball was louder than any car horn. My name is Adrian, and long before I signed a professional contract, I was just a kid chasing a dream bigger than my neighborhood. Every day after school, I would run straight to the small courtyard behind our apartment. The ground was hard, the goals were made of old bags, and the ball had more patches than leather. But to me, that place was the biggest stadium in the world. My parents worked long hours. They could not afford expensive gear or private coaches. What they gave me was something more powerful: permission to dream, and the freedom to chase that dream with everything I had. That I watched my idols on TV and imagined my name being shouted by thousands of fans. At night I would fall asleep with a ball at my feet and a promise in my heart. One day, I would play soccer as a professional and make my family proud. Years passed, and the street games turned into real matches. Local coaches started to notice me. I was not the tallest or the fastest, but I had a hunger they could not teach. Every training session felt like a test, and I refused to fail. When a mid-level professional club finally offered me a contract, I felt like the world had opened its doors. It was not a top team, not a giant of European football, but for me it was everything. I went from the backyard to a real stadium, from plastic cones to professional drills. I was no longer just a boy with a ball. I was a professional soccer player. Chapter 2: The night everything broke. My first seasons with the club were a blur of sweat, travel, and learning. We were a mid-table team, always fighting, rarely shining, but I loved every minute. The crowd was not huge, yet their voices felt like thunder when I touched the ballpoint one cool autumn night. We played against one of the strongest teams in the league. Scouts were in the stands. I knew this was my chance to show I could live on a bigger stage. That I end the second half, the ball came to me near midfield. I saw a gap, pushed the ball forward, and exploded into space. A defender slid in late, desperate and reckless. In a split second, his studs crashed into my left knee. That I heard a crack, more inside my head than in the air. The grass hit my face. Pain shot through my leg like fire. I tried to stand, but my knee felt loose, wrong, as if it did not belong to my body anymore. The stadium noise faded. I could see the sky above me and feel the wet grass under my hands, but all I could think was, not now. Not like this. The stretcher came. I remember the ceiling of the tunnel, the bright hospital lights, the serious faces of doctors. Hours later, when the results came in, the words cut deeper than any tackle. Severe damage to the ligaments in your left knee. Surgery is necessary. Recovery will be long. Your career at this level is uncertain. Uncertain. That word echoed in my mind all night. I had given everything to the game, and in one brutal moment, it felt like the game had taken everything away. Chapter 3: Rock Bottom and the First Step. The surgery was only the beginning. When the anesthesia wore off, reality hit harder than the pain. My left knee was wrapped, heavy and stiff. Just lifting my leg off the bed felt like climbing a mountain. Messages poured in at first. Friends, teammates, fans, all wishing me a fast recovery. But as the weeks passed, the calls slowed. The team had to move on. New signings arrived. Matches were played without me. Life went forward, and I stayed behind. There were nights when I stared at the ceiling and asked myself if it was over. I replayed the tackle in my mind again and again, as if changing it in my head could change it in real life. Then one morning, my physical therapist looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Adrian, this is the moment you decide who you really are. Are you the injury, or are you the man who fights back from it?" Something changed inside me. I realized no one was coming to save my career. No miracle, no secret shortcut. Just work. Hard, boring, painful work. The first time I tried to bend my knee, I could barely move it a few degrees. It burned. I clenched my teeth and pushed a little more. It felt like tearing, but the therapist encouraged me. "Every millimeter you fight for now is a meter you will win later on the field." He said that, so I started to treat every tiny movement like a victory. A few more degrees of flex. One more step with crutches. One extra repetition. I stopped asking, why did this happen to me? And started asking, what can I do today to come back stronger? Chapter 4, The Silent Hours. Rehab is not glamorous. There were no cheering fans, no cameras, no chants. Just cold rooms, elastic bands, ice buckets, and the ticking of a clock that seemed to move too slowly that I woke up earlier than ever before. When the city was still half asleep, I was already in the gym, carefully working on my leg. Balance, stability, strength. Again and again, some days were good. My knee felt steady, my steps more natural. Other days it ached so much that just walking across the room felt impossible. On those days, doubt whispered in my ear, "You will never be the same. You are wasting your time. Stop before you get hurt again." To silence that voice, I created a new routine. I filled my walls with notes, one step at a time. Pain is temporary. Remember why you started. I watched old videos of myself playing, not to feel sad, but to remind myself who I was and who I could be again. My club offered support, but in a mid-level team there are limits. I did not have the richest facilities or the biggest medical staff. Instead, I had something else, a few people who truly believed in me. My therapist, one assistant coach, my parents. When I moved from walking to slow jogging, I cried in the middle of the track. Not because of pain, but because I realized something powerful. The injury had not ended my story. It had just forced me to write a new, stronger chapter that I started to think bigger. If I could come back from this, I did not just want to play again. I wanted to be better than the player I was before. Faster, smarter, stronger. Not in spite of the injury, but because of everything it had taught me about effort and patience. Chapter 5, Return to the Field. Months later, the day I had dreamed about finally arrived. The coach called me into his office. "Adrian, we are thinking of putting you on the bench next weekend. Just a few minutes, no pressure." He said that no pressure? My whole future felt squeezed into that one sentence. On match day. The stadium looked the same as always, but to me it was completely new. The smell of the grass, the noise of the crowd, the weight of the jersey on my shoulders, everything felt sharper. When the fourth official lifted the board with my number, my heart pounded. As I stepped onto the field, my left knee felt like glass, fragile and exposed. The first touch of the ball was simple, a short pass to a teammate, but my legs were shaking. I was not the hero that day. I did not score a winning goal or break any record. I made a few clean passes, one decent run, and one nervous mistake. But when the final whistle blew, I realized something important, that I had done the hardest thing. I had come back. That short appearance unlocked something inside me. The fear started to fade, replaced by a quiet confidence. If my knee had survived that first game, it could survive the next, and the one after that. I stayed longer after training, working on my touch, my shot, my speed. I watched videos of great players, not to copy them, but to learn from them. I studied movement, positioning, timing. Little by little, my minutes increased. My legs remembered. My mind adapted. Soon I was not just the guy who came back from injury. I was a key player again, but now I wanted more. I did not want to be just an average pro on a mid-level team. I wanted to test my limits, to see how far this new version of myself could really go. Chapter 6, Beyond Limits. My comeback season was full of ups and downs, but something had changed forever in my approach. Before the injury, I relied mostly on talent and passion. After the injury, I added discipline and science. I worked with a fitness coach to rebuild my body from the ground up. We focused on my core, my balance, the small muscles around my knee that I had never even thought about before. I started eating better, sleeping better, protecting my body instead of just pushing it blindly. Soon, the results showed on the field. I was sharper, reading the game faster, making better decisions under pressure. My stats improved. More goals, more assists, more distance covered per match. People began to notice. First, reporters asking about my miracle return. Then, bigger teams sending scouts. The same kind of night when I had been injured, I now played like a man who owned the field instead of fearing it. I in one crucial match, against the league leaders. I scored twice and assisted once. After the game, a scout approached my agent. "We see more than a comeback story," he said. "We see a future star." Offers came from bigger leagues and bigger clubs. It felt unreal, but deep down I knew I had earned it. Not in one night, but in thousands of unseen hours. Signing for a top European club was like stepping into another universe. The pace, the pressure, the expectations, everything was higher. Yet the same rules applied. Show up, work hard, and prove a little every day. I carried my scarred left knee with pride. It was not a weakness anymore. It was proof of survival, of resilience. While others doubted, I kept my focus on the same thought that had carried me through rehab. If I can handle my darkest days, I can handle any stadium in the world. Chapter 7, The World Stage. The first time I walked out onto a fully packed international stadium, wearing my national team jersey, I felt the weight of every step that had brought me there. Every early morning, every painful stretch, every lonely night in the gym. This was the stage I had imagined as a boy in the backyard. Only now it was real. The game that changed everything came in a major final. The best players on the planet were on the field, and the whole world was watching. Commentators talked about golden generations, superstars, legends. I was once the injured midfielder from a mid-level team. Now I stood among them. The match was tense, balanced, full of tension. In the second half, with the score level, the ball bounced loose near the edge of the box. I caught it on my right foot, pushed it into space, and for a brief moment, the noise of the crowd disappeared. I saw the top corner. I remembered every shot I had practiced alone, every rebound against the wall during rehab, every time I had refused to stop. I struck the ball cleanly. Time seemed to slow as it flew past outstretched hands and kissed the net. The stadium exploded in sound. My teammates piled on top of me. Somewhere in the chaos, my hand touched the scar on my left knee, almost by instinct. It reminded me that this moment did not come from luck. It came from not giving up when it would have been easier to walk away. That goal became a symbol, not just of a title won, but of a journey completed, a promise kept. In the months that followed, the awards came. Best player of the tournament, records broken, my name spoken in debates about the best soccer player in the world. Journalists loved the story of my injury and comeback, but I knew the truth. The real story was not about the trophies. It was about the decision I had made, alone in a rehab room, to fight when nothing was guaranteed. Chapter 8, Your Turn to Rise. People now ask me, Adrian, how does it feel to be called the best in the world after everything you went through? I always answer the same way, that it feels like a responsibility. Because I know there is someone watching who thinks their dream is over. Someone who got injured, failed an exam, lost a job, heard someone say, "You are finished." To that person, I say this, your setback is not the end. It is the test. The tackle that destroyed my knee could have destroyed my belief. Instead, it became the fire that forged a stronger version of me. Not because I am special, but because I decided not to accept the limits others tried to place on my life. You do not need a perfect path. You do not need everyone to believe in you. You just need one thing, the courage to keep moving when it hurts, to keep working when no one is clapping, to keep believing when every voice around you says, "Give up." Scars do not make you weaker. They make your story more powerful. When you see a stadium, a classroom, an office, or any place where your dream could come true, remember this. Somewhere, a kid from a small street with a broken knee once walked onto the biggest stage in the world and refused to bow to fear, that if I can rise from that, then you can rise from where you are. So hold on. Fight back. Write your own ending. And if this story lit even a small spark inside you, let it grow. Because your greatest chapter might still be waiting to be written. If this story inspired you even a little, do not stop here. Subscribe to the channel, activate notifications so you do not miss the next powerful journey. Give a like to this video to help it reach more people. Leave a comment telling us what dream you refuse to give up on. And share this video with someone who needs to hear that their story is not over yet.